So in this video I'm going to try and explain 20 years of jazz guitar progress in 5 minutes or so, just to give you a glimpse into the way that things evolved, for me at least, and maybe that will help you in your journey. First, when I just started to improvise, what I can do basically if I saw an A minor chord or so is go to the pentatonic scale, which we all know and love, and do stuff just that feel intuitively cool, right? Like any guitar player. After a while, I started to hear different guitar players that are utilizing all kinds of stuff that sound more jazzy. And that's how I started to kind of like make my way, fake it till you make it kind of thing, into the jazz stuff. So instead of playing something like that, can start becoming something that has some notes that are outside of the scale, like this note, this note, this, all these notes are not in the A minor pentatonic scale. And then I started to add these into my playing, and it sounded more like these kind of stuff started to happen, right? As time went by, I started to apply these. I remember that, wow, that was a long time ago. I started to apply these to the different positions of the pentatonic. So, you know, first position of the minor pentatonic, second one. You gotta know these, right? I started to create those movements into each one of them. So maybe if you go to the first one, then you go to the next one, right? You make sure you have some of those chromatic movement in this position. Then you go to the next one. That was more of a blues oriented. You might be asking yourself, how do you know which notes to add? And that came very intuitively from listening. But as time went by, I discovered some techniques such as enclosures, which is kind of like wrapping a note with this frame, right? This is an enclosure, but you can also create different chromatic approaches such as, right, or which is more bebop oriented. Another thing you can do is you can just play whatever idea you have a half step above or below. And then just play around with that. You're playing around with different ideas just to create an out-sounding jazz, which is generally more associated with being jazzier. That's how I began. After a while, I noticed that when I've been meeting up with musicians who know how to play jazz and they were handing me those jazz tunes, that I didn't know how to play over changes. I could do this over a one-chord vamp, and I couldn't really express the same kind of ideas when chords are changing. So that's when I started to get into triads, because with triads I kind of liberated myself, well, triads liberated me to really be able to spell out changes. I'm just gonna give you an example with a blues, right? Instead of just playing just going like staying there, you can spell out the changes just by knowing the triads and building upon them. You have a B flat chord, right? Learn the B flat triad. Learn to associate the 7, the 9, and start creating phrases just around that triad. Right? E flat, learn the triad, start associating chromatic movement to that triad, know where the 7 is, and now you have a nice B flat to E flat. You start playing with these ideas, and after a while, you can really open yourself to start improvising over changes. How would I go about it? I would do this. I will learn my triads as best as I can. I will start voice leading those triads on different chord progressions and tunes. I will start learning how to develop those triads into arpeggios to have a wider range of movement on the instrument. I will then start coming up with small etudes and small mini licks that are expressing my creativity with those materials. Then I will start learning about jazz voicings and associating the 7th arpeggios like minor 7, major 7, minor major 7, diminished, all those into the materials of my voicing. And always go back to the music and reverse engineer what you hear. Start transcribing stuff, even if it's just like a short phrase working on your ears. Check out this video right over here where I talk about the most essential jazz chords you can start learning. So check it out.